Do you remember when all the Z fighters died in Dragon Ball Z? Let's talk about that. Doto!
Nano, we're back. I'm glad to hear that jingle again. It feels like it's been oh so long, but yet only a week. Wow, it's crazy how it happens.
It is absolutely insane how that happens. That's DotoDoya. I'm Nanogenix, and you are tuned in to Key Moments, a weekly podcast where we talk about Dragon Ball, we talk about anime, we talk about Doto. What have you been up to, man? How you been?
Me, I've been pretty good. Honestly, you know, I honestly said it's been a while. To be honest, it feels like we blinked and we're back here already. I don't think anything really at all happened to me. Oh,
I was gonna say, Doto, it was the holidays. Did you not do something for the holidays?
I was gonna say
this is our post-holiday episode.
That's probably why it felt oh so fast, Nano. So basic holiday stuff, basic run around, final shuffle. I basically everybody I got gifts for this year. I mostly went with like I'm not gonna lie, I thought it'd be funny to go with like a vintage toy gimmick. So I got everybody I know kind of like a vintage toy that I thought they'd at least be able to laugh at. That was mostly my thing. You know what? Actually, Nano, you brought up a good topic, because instead of what I got, let's talk about what I got for other people. Let's talk about what I got. I got 2 Dragon Ball grinders.
What does that mean?
It just means that 2 people thought it would be funny to get me Dragon Ball mixed with weed paraphernalia.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
It was funny. I got 2 4-star grinders. I was like, damn, I am addicted to anime and weed. That is crazy. that is who I'm known as. And that's when I realized I might have a problem. I might need to step back. But also got a sweet Dragon Ball calendar. Honestly, I should have brought these in this room to show them off. But the Dragon Ball swag was at an all-time high, Nano.
That's actually kind of like a fire. I did something similar once before, where like I went for more like vintage gifts for people, but that's actually like a fire thing to happen. Although you managing to get the same gift from 2 separate people is pretty impressive, especially when I guess to me that seems like a very unique gift. So the fact that you managed to get seems like a pretty unique gift twice, it's pretty impressive.
It is unfortunate. The way it exactly happened is my sister gave me one on Christmas Eve, and she handed it to me, and I was like, the 4-star Dragon Ball. I was like, that's pretty cool, you know. I was like, oh hey, a little display piece. And she was like, it's a grinder, and I was like, oh no way. And so what happened was, I thought Kenzie would get a kick out of it, like as a gift spectacle.
Oh no, you went to a shower and then she got you
I called her over, and the way I set it up, I was like, the way I'll reveal it, I was the same thought process I had. I'm like, hey, look at this Dragon Ball. But as soon as I said that, it fell apart. She was like, I also got you that. And so I got home, and then I got my second 4-star Dragon Ball grinder. But it kind of works out. Now one actually gets used and one's a display piece.
Oh yeah, it's okay. Well then, see, that worked out perfectly.
Exactly. There you go. That's how it worked out, Nano. And yeah, I did have to think of that on the fly to keep all the parties involved happy. But so is life.
So I had the same thing happen to me, almost in the same way. So when my sister-in-law was here, speaking of keeping phones charged, which by the way, if you guys are not key members, which means you're not over on Patreon, which means guess what? You can click the link down below in the description to watch our reactions to the episodes that we'll be talking about here today. Because yes, we are doing a bit of a rewatch for Dragon Ball Z. And yes, we are filming every second of our reactions to those episodes, which means there are reactions to 18 episodes of Dragon Ball Z and a movie available at patreon.com/key moments, which you can find a link to down below in the description. And when you get over there, not only are there all those reactions available to you, also, never mentioned it before, but if you are a key member, it means you can watch the podcast that we upload over there too without any ads. So if you're not a YouTube premium member or any of those things, you go become a key member over on Patreon. You can listen to the podcast with 0 ads. And you support us over there too. And there's bonus content like main channel DotoDoya vids that he uploaded over there that you would have thought would have been on his main channel. And there's other stuff still coming out. It's great. It's fantastic. Also, bonus Q&A questions and the ability to actually ask us questions over there.
Damn,
actually ask us the questions for the Q&A episodes. Those Q&A episodes may at some point come to YouTube, but you always are going to get them first as a key member on Patreon. And you are the person that gets to actually ask us questions that we will answer in the actual Q&A episode of the pod. So I'm just throwing it out there. We put out a ton of bonus content and it's available over there.
You crossed me, bro. You crossed me out of my shoes. That might be the most. I started, they'll be able to see it. I started laughing because I got verbally mixed, bro. You were like, oh yeah, speaking of keeping phones charged, bro, what did that have to do with the key members plugging all that crossed me out of my damn shoes?
You talked about your phone not being charged over before we started watching.
Yes, that's true. On the reaction.
And doing the reaction. That's what led to that. But now now you guys know how awesome our Patreon is. And a massive shout out to all of you that are key members and supporters over there. Thank you guys for supporting us. And honestly, again, if you're just an audio listener, there's a visual element over on YouTube. And if you are just a visual listener, sometimes you just need the audio portion of it. It's available on Spotify, Apple Music, and all your favorite podcast services. Would love if you left us a rating over there. Would love if you hit the subscribe button here on YouTube and also maybe left a bit of a like. But back to my actual topic here. My sister-in-law was in and she had this really cool portable charging pad that totally unwrapped, and it had a spot for a pair of headphones to charge. It had a spot to set your phone on to charge, and it had a spot to let your watch charge. It just unraveled.
Just by touch?
Yeah. By
damn.
wireless charging, all of it. Well, it's Christmas morning, and we hosted for her family. We hosted, so we all are opening gifts, and we do them individually. And I open a gift from her mom, a gift from my mother-in-law, and it's a similar setup. And I look over at my sister-in-law and I'm like, oh, I look over at my sister-in-law and I'm like, oh, okay. And I look at her mom and I'm like, hey, yo, you got the plug. And of course I have 2 children. And so they're, kind of running around being crazy because they're opening gifts too. And I ended up saying it again because I didn't think they heard me. Well, then fast forward 5 minutes, my sister-in-law bought me the wireless charging pad basically the same gift that I was sitting there talking up, saying, "Oh, you got a heads up from Heather, my sister-in-law, and that's why you bought me this." But no, it was just the fact that they bought me the same gift. So the whole time I'm doing that, talking up the fact that I thought my sister gave my mother-in-law the heads up to buy this. Really, she's sitting there the whole time being like, "Son of a bitch," the whole time she's like, "That's my gift that you're about to open." So it was a similar-ish situation because I definitely just thought. That because the odds of buying me 2 wireless chargers, I mean, I get, I guess I'm known as the tech.
You're the tech guy, bro.
Person, but still, it seemed so convenient that just 4 weeks ago I talked hella up this thing that Heather had, and then now I'm opening a gift from her mom that is very similar to it. So I was like, oh yeah, but no, I have 2 of those.
That one's even a little crazier because that's in the world of tech and. There was clearly some subterfuge going on there, bro. One of it has the storyline that makes sense, and that's not even your fault. You were just seeing the storyline.
Yeah,
you're like, oh, okay.
And I did it like you did it, spun it, and so I was like, well, this one can be the travel one, so this one stays in my travel bag, ready to go, and then this one can be my one to take up to my work desk, and I just leave there.
Yeah, I think that's a great spin. Honestly, everybody has their holiday spin. If you've ever been in a position where you've gotten 2 of the same gift from 2 people in they're both in the same vicinity, it's kind of your moral obligation to spin it in a positive light.
Yes.
Dude. You have to save the situation. You have to find the thread.
And we have to teach my son. We have to teach my son that. Dude, teaching another human being how to just be a proper human being is crazy. Because obviously when he was say a year ago, it's just a kid thing to point out, I have that at home, or I just got that last night from Tyler's mom. You know what I mean? He would say Tyler's mom, but what he calls her. And we had to teach him, you're getting older, and you can't just be like, I've already got this, because that really ruins the fun for the person that bought you that. And then, me and your mom will sort it out later. We'll figure it out, but just act excited. That's just proper etiquette. It just is.
Yeah, that's honestly, you have to go through that.
Yeah, you have to do it. And so this year, there was one thing he got that he already had, and he just he was a champ with it. And then same thing, he got something. He got to open the presents for my mom before us, and she got him something that we had already got him. And I was like, man, damn, he's gonna open that again tomorrow. I was like, well,
ooh, damn, that sucks. That one's more on you than for him. That damn.
Yeah, yep. Man, but Doto. We have some anime episodes to talk about today.
Oh, yes, we do. And you know, we left him in with a real intro here. All the Z fighters die, not clickbait. Actually, not clickbait, by the way, brackets.
It's not. And like, here's the thing. We have done a lot. Well, actually, we've done a lot of tier lists lately, which were, by the way, a ton of fun. I feel like we need to talk about that a little bit. Maybe we'll do that in between the episodes, but I want to dive into Pendulum Room Peril today. This episode was back to like true Dragon Ball Z fashion for both of us. I feel like we're back getting in line, getting set up for what I think is going to be a really good run of episodes. So I'm very excited to see our ratings for these episodes today and to just hear some fun trivia about these. So we are currently reviewing or talking about episode 17 of Dragon Ball Z. And no, it wasn't clickbait because it really happened. It's a pretty brutal episode, actually, called Pendulum Room Peril, which is also, fun fact, the 11th episode of the Vegeta saga in the uncut Dragon Ball Z series. Doto.
This one, no, I gotta I'm going into this with basically what you said already, but this one felt like the first Dragon Ball Z episode that actually had some meat on its bones. I don't know how to explain it, but this felt a lot more like how the Raditz episodes felt. Like there was mostly like fighting. The filler was more in, not that this was all canon stuff, but when they needed to pad out time, it was mostly just reused fight scenes, which personally I like a lot better. I don't know why. I would just rather do that than meet characters I'll never see again. But yeah, the vibes going into this episode, it felt like we were finally back. We're getting to the end of something here and not just Snake Way.
Wow, dang, dude. Doto is a wordsmith over here. Holy hell.
Bro, I just be crafting a few sentences,
That was pretty nice. Yeah, so this is I'm very actually can we jump ahead just a little bit? Can you tell me was all this filler? Was all of this filler?
Let me just go ahead. Krillin and the others entering the Pendulum Room where they're transported to an alien city and battle the two Saiyans is exclusive to the anime.
Man.
Hey. While that is filler, I think what we really need to see here is the only thing that was filler was basically the type of training they did. So all this episode did canonically was say, yes, they trained on Kami's Lookout, and yes, Gohan and Piccolo trained. So the filler really was just, what they were doing. And this episode decided to make it that they walked into a magical time room, which I thought was pretty cool. I'll give it up. I liked it.
No, I would say in terms of like, we talked about this a lot when we were talking about the Garlic Jr. movie, but I would say in terms of just overall like environmental aesthetics, this has so far in the series probably my favorite. Like I was really vibing with where they went and we actually got some really good shots of what appeared to be like a fallen battlefield with a bunch of like dead Saiyans, which I know sounds kind of like depressing, but was kind of cool because like Saiyans are still, for the most part, especially right now in this rewatch, but even to this day, are still kind of like a semi like mysterious like being. Like I know we have a lot of background and backstory on them, but we just don't see them often outside of the main characters, So like seeing these two mysterious Saiyans, seeing a ton of fallen Saiyans in their battle armor with their scouters on and stuff, and then also seeing what was probably some different gear that the Saiyans may have worn, which is what one of them show up in and jump scare the hell out of Chiaotzu. Like that was all like super cool to me personally. Like I thought that was like, I mean, this is like actually really, really good filler. Like tap me in on more of this, right? For sure.
I got to agree. I've been waiting this whole series. I was like, hey, if we're doing filler, give me the Earthling training filler. And we start out the beams and stuff. Yajirobe's whatever. I'm not really a Yajirobe fan, but we finally got some. They were spamming Ki Blast in this episode,
which I was all here for.
They knew we was waiting, and they were spamming it. Yamcha in particular was spamming pretty hard. Tien probably gets second place medal, but no, I agree with you. I think because it's not just that we see a couple Saiyans in this episode, it's also that the place they're walking around, like all the skulls and stuff, the scouter technology. This was a pretty like kids would be afraid of this episode, I think.
Yeah, no, that like when we were doing the rewatch, I made a joke about breakers because it actually really did set up like a vibe that would fill inspo for making a game like breakers, like actually genuinely setting up like stakes, as you said, and not the kind that you eat or where you go gamble, but actual stakes. And or well, I guess you could gamble with your life, but anyways. And that's kind of where this episode like seemed to go, and that was really, really cool. I guess I jumped ahead, but you mentioned it, but just take a step back. Basically, they're like, "Hey, are we gonna train?" And Kami's like, Kami's like real serious for a second. They're like, "You trained Goku," and he's like, "I didn't train Goku."
Like, that was honestly, bro, I'm not really sure who Kami is as a guy, if I'm being honest. Like, I've never really paid attention to his character, but that just felt weird. He was like, "I taught Goku nothing." Damn, why'd you do it in like a 6-minute sentence, bro?
Yeah, it's crazy.
Then he started laughing, walking away, and then honestly, it's Mr. Popo is the guy that gets them all into the pendulum room, where they will unfortunately each and every one of them be met with their demise. No, as soon as they got into the pendulum room itself, though, I think you only clicked when we saw the two Saiyans, but I remember this episode very vividly, except for the two Saiyans, ironically. I remember this pendulum room. I remember walking around the dead graves, and I definitely remember the spirit ball. This is why Yamcha is like super high up on my list, just because I think this move is cool. And man, he uses it a ton in this episode. Bro is spamming every second.
He's me in any old Dragon Ball game. Let me be honest. He's me in any Dragon Ball game ever.
I was gonna say, bro, like this is just you for real. I think there might be a total of, I don't know, like at least 6. At least 4 to 6 spirit balls are in this episode, and it's a good looking shot every time.
Like, yeah, no, it was, and the big one especially was like so cool. Dude, I'm such a meathead, bro. I'm hearing myself. I'm like, yeah, the big spirit ball went even crazier than I like.
I will say, hey, a little bit of trivia here. Apparently, there's an incorrect Funimation dub where Yamcha says spirit bomb.
Oh,
so. Which they say is incorrect, but honestly,
that one was so big.
If you watch this, he deserves to call it Spirit Bomb because it was a ginormous beam. It was huge. You know what? I feel like we need to give this more context because I want to say I want to rate these guys. Can we go back to their first interaction with the Saiyans that were kind of dashing around in the shadows before we actually see them?
Yeah.
So let's go through each and every one of their deaths. This is basically like the Edge of Tomorrow of Dragon Ball episodes. Great film.
Dude, we've talked about that movie so much.
We're gonna do a key moments on it. For sure.
I want to do a key moments on that movie just for the one time, like for real.
That'd be a fire title and thumbnail. Just let's use the basic 2 faces and then just Tom Cruise greatest film. Just like I just want that alone as like the lineup. I'm so tapped in
on this, dude. I've been dying to rewatch this movie too. So like
it's so good, dude.
It's based on anime too. So like
I like it, dude, and it really is like this episode because
the best right away Chaozu's anime, the best.
Now you're spitting. So the first death is Chaozu looks into a window and sees like this just helmet, honestly, that melts into like the Saiyan.
I thought it looked kind of cool. Can I just throw that out there? The helmet looked kind of cool.
You're spit. I'm not gonna lie. I've been playing some Halo lately. I would put that on my Spartan for sure. That's like a Warhammer, like World of Warcraft looking ass technology helmet. I really liked it. Unfortunately, it melts away, and this is where our first Z fighter meets their end. Absolutely no fight. Chaozu just gets his skull palmed by a Saiyan.
Yeah.
And it's not instantaneous, by the way. Like, he's just held up by his head.
It's very cruel. It's like...
Yeah. Honestly, it's even more cruel because 3 minutes before this happened, Tien was holding Chaozu like an actual baby. Like an actual...
Yeah,
like he had him like in one hand, one arm.
Which felt weird. Am I wrong for saying that? Like, it did feel a little...
I don't think so, bro, because we're homies, but I can't see one of us holding the other one up like that. Like, that's just... Like, and it's not even like
you agree it's weird. I thought you were saying you don't think it's weird. Yeah. I'm like, why is he holding Chaozu like that?
I would say that is weird. Like, I get being homies, and who knows, maybe it's just like a purely like a you know, like I'm kind of small, you can pick me up, like let me just save the energy kind of thing. Like it's just efficient, like carpooling. But like that is still like Chaozu is still a grown man, right?
Yes.
Well, like, why is he?
My toddler won't let me hold him like that. Straight up.
Why is Chaozu being babied like this by Tien? But I mean, yeah, so Chaozu's getting walked around like a baby, and then he gets his skull crushed. Off screen, we don't get to see anything, but he don't make it. Though.
Yeah, because because they throw him after doing that, and you noted this in the reaction. They gave it a sound effect of his body hitting the ground. They actually gave it a sound effect.
The whole fight takes place on like, I guess, a decrepit roof over like an underground city, like New York City, but it's like beneath us. They crushed Chaozu's head and then tossed him down a hole, and all you hear is ew. I was like, why did they feel the need to add that sound effect in the distance? Extra funny because Tien's voice actor was putting his whole fucking self into this performance today.
He was there that day, bro.
Honestly, Tien's voice actor, I don't know their name off the top of my head, but he always goes 110%. This episode was 120. There were some Chaozus, and there was a lot of Chaozus going on. But that's Chaozu dead. He didn't have anything to do. Honestly, Chaozu, later in the episode, they asked, like, hey, are we all committed to this? Chaozu should have been banned from the group. Like, that was a poor performance. That was, you failed. And that's when the two Saiyans make their appearance. Apparently they have names, Nano. Did you hear these names in the episode?
No, and I'm seeing it now in the wiki, and I'm like, they never actually gave them these names.
Who is Scarface? Who is Shorty and Scarface, bro? Because I never heard a single word of this.
Anyway, Shorty and Scarface, guys. Two Saiyans. Did you know about those? Let us know in the comments.
Yeah, if you guys remember Shorty and Scarface and you want them in Sparking Zero, make sure to let us know in the comments.
Oh my gosh,
let's get a Shorty and Scarface for Sparking Zero petition.
You know what? If they're not in the game, we riot, to be honest. Like, because they said honestly, historic level of characters. So like,
yeah. Honestly, forget rioting, bro. Like, I say we just don't buy the game. I say we just all stop buying every Dragon Ball product if they're not in there. Straight up, like they need to be in there, or I'm not buying.
Doto, we make most of our living off Dragon Ball videos, so.
Hey, I'm saying cancel the series. I'm willing to go down with the Shorty Scarface ship.
Wow. Okay. So you will not be covering Sparking Zero if they're not in it. Is that what you're saying?
Absolutely. That's my commitment right now.
Wow.
That's my commitment right now.
On the record. You're so confident that Shorty and Scarface will be in there. That's like that's why you're willing to do it.
Bro, if they actually appeared, that would be crazy. Bro, I would be losing it.
Would you make a dedicated video to them? I feel like you would for the meme.
Absolutely. For the one time I would make a video, and in video I'd be in character the whole time as a guy that thinks these characters should have always been in this game. Like the video would start and go, yes, it actually happened. Shorty and Scarface are finally playable.
And then everyone watching is the freaking oh my gosh, the meme of Snoop Dogg going, who?
that would be me, bro, because I'd be in there saying like, yeah, dude, when Scarface launched his Kankuzen attack, that was fucking crazy.
Oh my god,
like, that was my
called? Did you just read that shit? Is that what it's called?
I just read that. The triangle move is called the Kankuzen.
That was cool, by the way. That move was really cool.
Hey, this man was acting like he wasn't a Scarface fan until just now. Now you like his techniques.
Oh my, bro, move on. Tell us about the next death, bro. Come on.
All right. But if they release an LR of Shorty and Scarface, I better not see you summon, bro.
No, quit giving them ideas, man. 2023 is the worst year for Dokkan ever.
That's gonna be when they finally do merge Global and JP. That's gonna be the celebration release unit. Shorty and Scarface.
Shorty and Scarface with their triangle blast.
I'd be going crazy. It's called the Kankuzen, by the way, but whatever. Yeah. So after Chaozu falls all the way to the ground and dies. Tien lets out a Chaozu. He rushes in, and boom! Immediately he gets put in a headlock and palmed. He's almost on his way out, just like Chaozu.
Neo Tri-Beam, right? Isn't that when he tries to do that or something like that? Didn't he try to get one? Because I remember you noting like he immediately went for it, and it seemed like they were going to match him with it or something.
I think you're right. It doesn't mention that here, but I think he fakes, like he does a beam, they dodge it, and then he runs over to attack, and that's when they palm his forehead. Thankfully, though, Yamcha's on the lookout, hits him with a spirit ball. And this goes on. Oh no, this is where they do their trio attack. So we'll mention this too, because they do a tri-beam into another spirit ball into a Kamehameha. Is like Yamcha's second spirit ball already. Let's do a spirit ball counter.
This is a Dokkan LR in the works.
This is a Dokkan LR in the works, not to bring up Dokkan too much, but good news, everybody. This is the last bit of teamwork we see from these three. And good probably news. If I was Krillin, I would never talk to these two ever again. Yamcha and Tien are ex-friends, bro. Because after their little trio attack, the Saiyans are in hiding. They think they defeated them. They're kind of like talking him up, like, damn, I can't believe we beat those guys. Boom. The Saiyan shorty comes out, starts beating Krillin's ass from the ground, launches him into the air. And then takes Krillin into the ground.
I'm gonna say that's when he pops up and grabs Krillin, and that was when I started talking about breakers, because that really does, that's some scary movie shit, dude. Like,
bro, like, so Krillin gets ripped into the metal away from his friends. Yamcha and Tien just stand there like, duh, wait, what? What happened? And the whole time, by the way, they're talking in the voice acting performance. You can hear he is getting his fucking ass beat down there. And they're just standing there like, what's happening? Oh my gosh, where's our friend Krillin? He's getting fucking beat down. And then 3 minutes go by. He gets launched back up out of the hole, the same hole he fell into. And they're like, oh my god, Krillin. And then the Saiyan comes up, spikes Krillin back down into the hole. He flies past Tien and Yamcha. They don't even try to catch him. And then you hear, Krillin's dead. He hits the ground. He's dead. He's out. No help at all from these two. Nano, what did you think of this historical ass beating on Krillin?
Well, first off, I've got to ask our editor Toasty to put in a quick reaction to you seeing Krillin get his ass beat really fast.
Oh, you want it from the Patreon?
That's exclusive from the Patreon, and you can get a taste of what these reactions and why they are worth to be a key member.
Holy shit! Can my man get some help? They are just watching. There is no way. Catch him at least. Damn. Useless ass fucking friends.
Secondly,
beat, bro.
To add to it, this was just funny, and like your reaction added to my experience for sure. But definitely them doing just absolutely nothing is crazy. Like I just like it make especially like with you just talking about the fact that they did their whole teamwork thing just moments before, like using all their signature moves, kind of, and then to go to just watching him get his ass beat is crazy. It's insane.
It was so bad. They didn't even bother helping. They didn't even try. And that at least see, the thing is, Chaozu just got his forehead palmed and then he died. That's why I'm hard on Chaozu. Krillin, like durability wise, that was a good 3-minute ass beating. It's not even just like he went down easy. It was nobody helped him. All right, like when Tien got grabbed, Yamcha helped. When Krillin gets grabbed, nobody jumped in. That was wild. I'm pissed if I'm Krillin. But after that, I guess they learned the power of teamwork, because Krillin, I mean, not Krillin. Sorry, still hung up on it. Yamcha and Tien pretty much just duo the rest of this out. They kind of had their moment, like Tien does again for the 5th time this episode, the multi-form attack, which, we won't get into it now, but I think the multi-form is the worst technique ever created in this show. It does nothing ever.
I think it would be better if it didn't split the
strength.
Power. Yeah, the fact that it is splitting strength out. So like, especially when you're talking about an individual like Tien, who's already, even in this timeline, not strong, right? They get their asses handed to them by these two Saiyans, which they are informed later on are half as strong as Vegeta and Goku, or Vegeta and Nappa. So like, with that knowledge, Tien, a weakling, already splitting his energy out amongst other forms makes no sense. Not to mention, in this case, again, there were some weird cuts here, so it was kind of hard to follow what was happening after the action went, but it felt like Tien did almost nothing here, right? Like, you say they teamworked, and maybe we could give him the benefit of the doubt that he helped cave in the bottom, but for the most part, it seemed like Yamcha was carrying this like on his back with his massive big ass spirit ball.
Yeah,
so,
super spirit ball really carried. Tien more just like, maybe, like you said, knocked out some support beams. But Yamcha was putting in actual work. He was putting in actual work. Sadly, though, Nano, this didn't hurt the Saiyans at all. They just got absolutely. We got a little clickbaited.
Because they made. I'm guessing is Shorty.
Yeah.
Wouldn't it be funny if they're the reverse?
Yeah, I mean that might be what's happening. I really don't know.
Anyways, Shorty actually lets out like a scream after this like massive attack where Tien and Yamcha like teamed up and like really took down the area. As Shorty lets out this like insane scream, which is where it's kind of hard to follow because they do a cut after that. And then the next thing you know, guess what? they did nothing.
They did nothing.
There's not even
Saiyans pop
scratches
up.
on them. They were totally.
These guys get killed though, Nano. They were fine, but our Earthlings were not. Like they got gored. Like you even let out. You were like, oh my god.
Dude, and this goes back to what you just said. Tien's voice actor was in that booth putting in work, because that final scream that he lets out as they get just apps. I mean, this is that. I'm sorry. Can you say it one more time for the listeners here? What was the name of the move that destroys them?
Oh, Konkazen.
Yes, they hit him with that, and it just rips them. Like, and they animate this out too. They rip them to shreds, dude. And that's where Tien gives us like one of the best voice acting performances in Dragon Ball Z history, right here. Which brings us back into the pendulum room, and guess what? It was all fake out.
It was all just a training dream. It was their minds were taken to the past, I guess. I don't really know. The setting could have been expanded upon a little bit, we just missed it. But it was basically like the past of some Saiyan place, and there was some dead Saiyans. Not really too important. What's most important is that, again, like you said earlier, these two Saiyans are half as strong as Vegeta and Nappa, and they washed the Earthlings. Absolutely washed. Wasn't even a challenge. They all literally died. Like if that was real and they were there, they were dead.
Yes. Which, can we take a small step back?
Go ahead.
I think that is the case. The shorter one is Scarface, and the taller one is Shorty.
Well, the shorter one also has the scar on his face.
Yeah, so he is Scarface, and I just clicked on the image, and at least, again, master shout out to the wiki helping us out here all the time with facts and trivia and all of that. But they label it Scarface is the shorter one with the scar obviously on his face, and then the taller one is Shorty. So, which I didn't notice this. Did you notice this? But Shorty has the red bands like Raditz on his leg and arm.
Oh, that is a good look. Honestly, if I was a Saiyan, I would go with that too. Can I just say, kind of fucked up to have both of your nicknames be insults that could be sent at only one of the two.
Yeah.
Like all you're setting up, Nano, is like literally the only part of this name is if somebody walked up to them and wanted to like insult them, it'd be like, oh, you must be like, you got to be Scarface because of that huge scar on your face. But who's Shorty then? It's like, because you're still short. It's like, damn, man, lay off.
Yeah.
What? Like, why didn't we split the nicknames up? Like, damn, I don't know. I just feel bad for the guy that he's both the shortest and also the guy with the scar on his face. It didn't seem to bother him. He seemed to be having a good time out there, especially ripping them up with the Konkazen, iconic technique that it is.
Bro, you love saying that move, huh?
It's just every time I say it, I can tell that I'm getting Dragon Ball credit, bro.
Okay.
Like every time I say it, I feel like I'm smarter and thus better than most other fans. That's just how I feel.
Bro's gonna tweet out later. Konkuzan rated his 5th best move in Dragon Ball history.
Oh, do we want to talk about that? So no, I want to save it for a Patreon like special or something.
Okay.
But let's just say I've developed a very strong way of tweeting Dragon Ball opinions out. And so, you know what, let's do a little intermission. We're in between episodes here. But I saw this Reddit post that made me laugh because it was literally like it was talking about Futurama, I think. Have you ever watched that show?
Oh, yeah.
All right. It doesn't really matter the story, but it was like Futurama dog rated 17th saddest death in TV. And it had like, this post had 50,000 upvotes, Dano. Like 50,000 people liked it. It might not be that much, but it was a big amount of people liked it enough to hit the upvote button. And I just sat there laughing. I was like, compared to what though? Like voted 17th on what by who? And so I was like, you know what? Fuck it, bro. I'm just going to write a Dragon Ball opinion I have. And I'm going to Photoshop a stupid thing saying that it got voted something. And I'm just going to let that speak for my opinion. So that's what I do nowadays is every time I have a Dragon Ball opinion that I want to post, I'm going to Photoshop a little document, say that it was voted that way, and then post it.
Hell yeah.
So that's what I did. I said Super Saiyan God voted 4th best form. And what made me laugh is I only got like 2 comments by people saying, wait, voted by who? So honestly, very powerful technique. I recommend you do it with your own opinions at home.
Now,
dude, that's what I was doing all night though. That was my evening.
Bro scheduled tweets out for the next month. that are just
True.
his opinions on Dragon Ball, but it appears to be that it was actually a mass majority of people. And I guess if people retweet and like what you tweeted, then it does become a majority opinion as well, Doto.
Exactly.
Damn.
And it's not even like I lied because I voted it to be true. It was voted by me.
Doto low-key like a politician, but in Dragon Ball right now.
Yeah, pretty much.
So that does bring us to the fact that they did all die. They wake up, they're in a pendulum room, and they're like, guess what? It was a dream. And then Kami's like, and by the way, as I just mentioned, these guys are only half as strong as the Saiyans that are approaching Earth right now. And everyone, for whatever reason, I mean, I'm thankful for it, but they're like, we can do this. And it's like, can you? Like, you just got your ass handed. I mean, you did nothing to them. And you're now told that Vegeta and Nappa are twice as strong as the Saiyans, the fake Saiyans that you just fought. But needless to say, that's pretty much where it ends. They do love to remind us that the Saiyans are headed to Earth. So, of course, they got to get a shot of them headed to Earth at some point in this episode. And they have to show us Goku running on Snake Way, because that's pretty much been those have been the reoccurring themes for the last 10 episodes in this series, Doto. The last 10 have been small, quick snippets of Vegeta and Nappa traveling in Saiyan pods and Goku running on damn Snake Way. Like, that's...
Hey, Nano, the good news is, while we've been sitting through it for 10 weeks, guess what this next episode called?
What's the next episode called?
The End of Snake Way. We made it, guys. We did it.
Now, Doto,
Goku died like not 8 months ago in time for us, but guess where we are now?
what's crazy is that we are watching this at a pace that is accurate to where I guess they're kind of at. Like we watched Goku die about the same amount of months ago as he did technically canonically in the show.
That is true. We've spaced this out almost perfectly.
So if you guys are new to Key Moments, we give each episode a rating. So we do have to give.
Have to do this.
Yeah, so that's why I didn't want to stop. I loved the transition there, but I do want to stop you before we move on. That way we do not forget. We need to give a rating to the Pendulum Room Peril. And, right now, these episodes aren't batting too high. The highest we've given out in 5 episodes is a 7, and that was from Mr. DotoDoya on our Princess Snake recap. So, you want me to go first, and you hold your hands on this one?
Yeah.
Okay. I feel like there's no denying the fact that I actually did genuinely enjoy this episode. I thought it was a good time, and this is definitely more filler of this. It would be perfect. So, are you ready? Can I say my number?
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm gonna go, and also Doto, it better not be the same as me, but I'm gonna go with a nice solid 7 on this one. I really enjoyed this one. So,
yeah,
Doto.
Yeah, me too.
Don't you dare say it, bro.
Are
they taking a shot at home, Doto?
Yeah, I made a mistake, Nana. So I held up a 6. I'm not gonna lie. I held up a 6 at first, and then you said, "Are you ready? Are you good?" And I said, and I made it a 7 because I think I enjoyed this just as much as Princess Snake. Even though I would dare say that I think Princess Snake as an episode is a little stronger. Yes. I'm not gonna lie. This is the first episode in a while that really played on the meathead in me. Okay. There was a lot of beams in this. There was a lot of death. There was a lot of gore. There was a lot of scouter noises and teleportation noises, bro. Like this one earns a 7. This one might just be a 7 of its time, but it's also a very iconic episode to me. I love the colors, the scenery, and it stuck out in my brain as an Earthling training episode. I thought it did a good job. So yeah, I gave it a 7 too.
Basically everything Doto just said. I think a lot of it. Again, I said this in our reaction, and I'll say it again here, and they'll never do it, so it is what it is. But I do think something that is set in, it doesn't even have to be set in the era with Bardock, that would be bonus points to get to see King Vegeta and stuff like that. But seeing a more heavily focused miniseries on like the Saiyans going out and doing Saiyan things and watching like large scale fights with the Saiyans would be so damn cool to me. And that gave me that vibe in here, and that alone made me I just enjoyed this a lot. So, and yeah, beams, lots of beams. Beams are good. Beams
and before
good,
really good. Kankazen. Before we move on, I do want to add one little bit of trivia. I just saw.
We haven't done that portion yet. We did skip to the canonical differences, but yeah.
Technically, I'm not even going to read any of the real trivia. I just thought this was cool. So as you know, Nano, as a fan of Dragon Ball, you probably get the theming of naming Saiyans around fruits. So while Scarface and Shorty obviously don't fit that theme, their Japanese names, when translated to English, Shorty would be Bracco. That was his original name in Japanese, Bracco. for broccoli.
Yep.
And Scarface was even more obvious. His was Panpukin,
which is
pumpkin. It's just a funny way of saying pumpkin.
Oh, okay. Yep.
So it was Pumpkin and Brocco. Were the if you needed a more Saiyan name for those Saiyans, Pumpkin and Brocco, which I think are decent names. I could see like Panpukin.
Well,
is a little harder.
Brocco's, a little too close to Broly,
Yeah, like you would need to be a little more brolic to be Brocco.
Yeah.
So hey, he's still up there. I just wanted to bring that up. Other trivia? Do we have anything? Not really, huh? Shorty reads Krillin. Oh, we do have this actually. Shorty reads Krillin, Yamcha, Tien, and Chaozu's combined power level as being 1,507 or 10 in the animation dub, which I actually thought was pretty respectable. Honestly, as a group of 4,
they just be changing little tiny shit for no reason.
Hey,
I could just left
I
it
respect
1507 instead of rounding up to 1510. Like,
honestly, that's something that I would have done too. I would have rounded it up or down. 1507 is a little random to me. It's 10 or just a smooth 1500. Anyway, again, that's that episode. Trivia, that was pretty much all we got.
Okay, so before we dive into the second episode, which I think had a lot of good, but probably not as much to dive into in that one specifically, let's talk really quick about our previous episode here on the pod, which was ranking the movies. Dato, I just had a question for you. Just a small, quick question, because it was a reoccurring theme in the comments. Do you think we placed Battle of Gods too low?
No.
So you stand by that?
Yeah, I'd stand by that, yeah.
Okay. Because just to address that to everyone, it's, again, every movie has to have a place, like it has to be somewhere. And I still firmly believe, there were people, I forgot that superhero is a semi-polarizing movie for a lot of people. There's a lot of people it's very interesting, but there were definitely comments that were mad that superhero was above BOG. And to me, it's just not even a contest. That was a very interesting one. If you haven't watched our tier list for the movies, which we did prior to this, to seeing any more past the Garlic Jr. movie that we've seen, just to kind of like put things into perspective here and be able to look back on and see if we change things. It's just very interesting to see people's reactions to said tier list. And the Battle of the Gods, which I knew was going to be one, was definitely a polarizing one for people in our placement of that one. So I just wanted to see if you still stood strong with our tier list from a week ago, but you did.
Yeah, I'll still stand by it. I saw the comments debating it a little bit, but again, I feel with the logic that I came into it with, it's just not, again, like I'm going off that pulling movies off a DVD shelf. Every movie we had above it, I would be a little more excited to pull off the shelf than Battle of Gods itself.
Oh, sorry. 2 more things. One, have you ever saw Yo Son Goku and his friends?
Yeah.
So people are mad that we didn't include that one on the list.
Well, I don't think it would have rated very high if that's what they wanted. I don't know if it would have rated very high.
I don't know if people were memeing, but there were people saying that it was maybe up there at, like it should have been like Z tier level. They liked that one so much.
Oh, I don't know about that, bro. I don't know about that. Maybe during the time it came out, it was nice because it was like, oh wow, some new Dragon Ball stuff.
Yeah, because it came out like what 08, 09 or something like that, like somewhere before Kai, I think.
Yeah, it was. I don't remember where.
It was definitely in that stint of nothing, including in the US.
Yes, it was in a stint of nothingness. So it was kind of fun then, and Tarble was kind of cool.
Yeah, Tarble.
As like a thing, but I don't know if it was that good. I mean, I could rewatch it. We could rewatch it, but I don't remember Red and Blue Guy fusing into Purple Guy being that crazy or nothing. If I'm being honest, Nano, like if it's sharing a tier with Dragon Ball Super Broly, that's not happening. Or even Superhero, that's not happening.
I agree. And then the last thing I'll say is I forgot we really were just trying to piss people off in that episode because I do believe you go out and you start the episode with saying like basically F all Vegito fans because Gogeta is just better. And I forgot that was something that was also a conversation in that episode. And
that was like 3 podcasts we could have done.
And we drug the Gotenks fans like across the ground because we put Capua over Gotenks. But it's just the way I feel about. I mean, I think Gotenks is a fine fusion, but if you're putting them in a list,
we really were just trying to not have anybody. The retention on that episode, we were trying to kill that retention real quick.
We were we're out here. Anyways, I just, I feel like I just wanted to retouch back on that. And if I see any more like future interesting comments, maybe we'll touch back on them again. But
you're a comment hawk, bro. Save it for a full podcast where we can title it "Addressing the Allegations," bro.
Dude, that'll actually be a very fun episode.
I was gonna say, there you go. Now you have a way to
Damn.
Add it to a folder, addressing the allegations, and then we'll get a podcast out of it.
So speaking of podcasts, right now we are at the end of Snake Way, Doto.
We made it. And this episode, you're right. I'm kind of glad that we don't have a lot to talk to, because this one can literally be boiled down to. Well, now, how much do we want to talk about this episode? It's called The End of Snake Way, and that is the biggest thing that happens.
Yes.
But we could also split this and just call it Dueling Piccolo's 2 Revenge of the Filler Arc, bro. Like,
yeah.
I forgot that was a big part of this.
This was fun. I do want to just go out on a limb here and say this was actually a fun episode of Z. I enjoyed seeing Great Ape again. So the structure of this episode, if you guys are not familiar, is essentially we start off by, or one of the most important factors here is we start seeing Goku's space pod, that is still apparently functioning 25 years later.
That was kind of, let's talk. Sorry, I know we're trying to speed run this.
We're not necessarily trying to speed run.
I'm saying, like, I would respect trying to speed run this, but I thought this was going to be like a cool setup when they first started doing this, Nano, because like the episode opens on Gohan sleeping, and like it does, like there's a lot of like artistic cuts here to show you that, like Goku's son looks a lot like Goku.
There was some good scenery here at the beginning too. I remember you calling out the scenery for this one as well.
The scenery, like there was a lot of artistry on here that they could have made like a short film out of it. Like the first few minutes seemed like somebody was getting artsy with this, but it was like the pod that Goku came in was like, Kakarot, wake. I mean, this is also very fucking dumb though, Neto, if we're being honest. The pod that Goku came in said, Kakarot, wake up, destroy the Earth. Kakarot, wake up, destroy the Earth. So shout out to Bardock for shipping him out with that top tier stuff right there. But yeah, for the first few minutes, I thought it was going to be like a very artsy, like son, like this is Gohan's story now, moving on from Goku kind of deal. But it really didn't amount to that much.
So you weren't getting the vibe that we were going to see Goku? I thought we were going to see like Grandpa Gohan and Goku.
No, exactly. That's what I thought it was going to be.
Okay.
I thought it was going to be artsy or something. I thought it was going to tell the story of Gohan while telling what was the story of Goku.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? Like,
yes. No.
I thought it was going to be.
We were going to be in the past aesthetic.
It was a lot dumber than both of us gave it credit for. Although I'll give you credit, you figured out the twist pretty fast. Go ahead. You knew this episode, Nano. You saw this episode unfold right before your eyes, and you solved it, bro. Go ahead.
Gohan wakes up, and there is a moon back in the sky, which you guys been following along. Piccolo said, hell no, about 5, 6, 7, 8 episodes ago to Gohan going Great Ape, cut off his tail and destroyed the moon. Like
a little bit overkill.
Yeah, he said, nah. Who cares about gravity balance with needing the moon to make sure that everything doesn't go to hell on Earth? He said, I'm destroying it. Because if I don't, this Great Ape will anyway. So anyway, the moon is back, and Gohan looking kind of cool, right? Look like he's gonna channel his inner Uzaru type shit, like wrathful.
He's freaking
Gohan.
out,
and
bro is out of his mind.
And then it's like, wait a sec, why is the moon back? And then it's like, oh yeah, guess what the moon back is for? It's because they were showing us that space pod. The space pod is now conveniently all of a sudden reactivated for no reason and is projecting a moon up into the sky. It hasn't done this before now, but it's doing it here today. And so, Gohan goes Great Ape. Pretty cool animation, by the way, on him going Great Ape this time. Actually, I kind of enjoyed the Great Ape stuff more here. It made it. Am I fair in saying it made it feel a little cheap? Am I okay in saying that?
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm just saying, like, the gimmick of how it happened with Goku's apparent space pod that's been sitting here on Earth for 25 years and is now all of a sudden back and randomly projecting a moon into the sky. And Gohan also conveniently regrowing his tail that we hadn't seen yet, and it didn't show him having a tail until after Piccolo found him and had to cut his tail off again. Like
they didn't really want you to think too much. They just wanted one more Great Ape.
Yeah, apparently. So anyway, Piccolo and Gohan just be actually Piccolo be running for his damn life in this one because
he gets bullied in this one.
He gets beat the shit. Oh, he also does do dueling Piccolos. He does split again, but in a much less like disgusting way. It's a much more seamless split this time into two Piccolos, into dueling Piccolos, if you will, but not. I'm telling you, man, that scene of them splitting was crazy. The original scene in dueling Piccolos of him like.
Yeah, no, he was a lot quicker with it this time.
Yeah, he mastered that shit since then. Which, by the way, we are hella months in. We're like 3 months away from the Saiyans actually being there. So we are getting really close to Nappa and Vegeta being on Earth. And is there anything else you want to add there to the back and forth of Gohan and Piccolo? I mean, they basically just. It really is a lot of beams and a lot of fighting.
No, pretty much nothing. The only funny part that really sticks out to me is there is a moment where Piccolo gets grabbed, thrown to the floor, and stepped on, and just as like Gohan's not even trying to kill him, he's just walking away and steps on him. That I thought was very funny. Had a very big Plankton from SpongeBob vibe to him. But
yes.
that was about the only thing that was actually like something I wanted to comment on.
Yeah, I don't know that there's anything else here. I thought that this episode was very aesthetically pleasing. Like
it was fun. It was cool seeing Great Ape, walk around, do stuff, and it was very cool with the stuff we get to later. But Piccolo and Gohan, that was just like this was just meathead filler. Like again, this might be the dumbest filler we've had so far, and that's saying something.
One thing to note that we've not talked about, I do want to make sure is mentioned, is that Piccolo has some pretty cool moves in this one, and you kept calling back to Naruto, which I actually get the references now, which is pretty cool. But he used, this may have actually been in the previous episode first, but he used it again in this one too. He used laser eye beams similar to like a DKP kind of thing.
He spams those, yeah.
Yeah, he does spam those, and they're like actually electric, and they animate Gohan getting hit with it, and even show like Gohan's like skeleton and brain to like show you like it's truly electric. He then also has like an electric web style attack, and then he also does a lot of cool stuff where they zoom in on his hand, and he really does look like he's doing like signs, like no joke. And that's how he does one of those to conjure up a what is the iconic move that every character has, full power beam or a full,
full
he
power
does one of
energy
those
wave
at the moon, and that's when the moon he just shoots right through it, and that's how he discovers it's an illusion, it's a projection.
it's a projected moon.
Yeah, that is how Piccolo comes to the conclusion that that's what's going on. And then in the most OD way possible to destroy Goku's spaceship, he uses a special beam cannon.
This one was definitely this is action figure. This one is literally just marketing to kids right here. And I'm not saying it wouldn't have worked on me.
It would have,
because it definitely would have. But he does a special beam cannon, name and all, to destroy what is basically a classroom projector. That is crazy. But hey, the more Piccolo wants to do, the better,
Doto, is it fair in saying that between these two episodes, we saw more beams in these two episodes than the previous 16 together?
That's what I'm saying is like the meathead Dragon Ball Z fans are eating now.
Yeah,
it is crazy. There are so many beams and techniques. It is crazy.
Even though we are kind of speedrunning this one compared to the previous one a little bit, because there is not as much to talk about, I guess, because it does feel a little retreaded here for sure. Is that this was a very enjoyable episode, right? Like it definitely is just a lot of
beams, a lot of fighting.
And so I'm totally here for it. But I think
I'm all good.
That's really about it. With like
hold on, Nano. He gets to King Kai's place. We reached the end.
Oh no! Sorry, I was gonna get to the Kakarot. I was gonna say that's not it on the Gohan and the Piccolo.
Oh yeah.
Because basically he destroys that takes down the moon, which then converts Gohan back into a normal child. He rips off the tail and says, "Good riddance, at least for now." Right? I kind of thought you might leave. I couldn't remember exactly how everything goes, and I was like, maybe like strategically, maybe you leave the tail because you might need Great Ape Gohan to do some shenanigans against the Saiyans. But it was also a pretty cool thing that Piccolo said in this too, where he's like, "I'm not prepared yet." Like he is clearly a Saiyan, and this is proving to me that I'm not ready to take on Saiyans. Like I have to get stronger. I have to get better.
He kind of gets washed, and he acknowledges that.
So that was also kind of a cool moment, and that's pretty much it for Piccolo and Gohan. That does bring us to Kakarot getting to the end of Snake Way.
Ooh.
Finally.
Pretty much it. He just gets there and he experiences what we both thought was cool to see again. the 10 times gravity of King Kai's place.
Yeah.
It's a big thing. Like, he
that.
struggles to move. He gets sucked into the planet, walks around. He sees Bubbles. And as I've been saying on this show, when you're in the Dragon Ball universe, you have no choice. Every animal you meet, you have to deliberately say hello, introduce yourself. Are you, King Kai? That's what Goku basically says. He says, "Nice to meet you. Are you King Kai? Can you get me that apple?" And that's not even a bit. That's literally just that's being a proper human in this universe.
Yep.
So that's basically where it ends, because it ends with the actual King Kai saying, "What are you doing?" As Goku's mimicking Bubbles.
It was cool seeing Bubbles drop him one of the apples, and it just like goes through King Kai's planet. Like, just
that was a little crazy. They made it look like it was like through Nano. We almost forgot the craziest part of this episode. Bubbles drops that apple, and what does Goku say?
Oh, what does
you don't
he
even
say?
remember, huh?
No.
Goku looks down at the apple falling through the planet and goes, "Wow, Sir Isaac Newton would have been losing it." That might be the most not Goku line I've ever heard in my life.
Yeah, that shit was so out of character.
That was so funny.
Like,
it was just Sean Schemmel talking right there.
That took us both, we both reacted that in the exact same way. Because
see, the thing is, Nano, we're at the end of the podcast. I don't want to get into it with the fans, but this is the only time I will ever agree with the sub over dub people. And no, the English people didn't know how to do Goku as a character. I disagree. I like English Goku, but this was out of pocket. This was crazy. Bro should not know who Isaac Newton is. That was nuts.
Speaking of Goku and character, that's when he still thinks that Bubbles is the is King Kai, and he starts mimicking he starts moving around on the planet like a monkey. And I won't lie, that also felt very in line with just kind of the gimmicky funniness that I feel like Akira goes for with Z. That felt very channeling that sort of thing, and that was pretty funny. But then he sees King Kai, and boom, end of episode. We're in it. We're here.
We're in it. He's at the end of Snake Way. He made it. Reference Sir Isaac Newton. I mean, what else more could you ask from an episode?
Are there any any fun trivia? Any differences from the manga? What do we
differences from the manga? Well, you'll never believe it, but Goku's original space pod, which creates that illusion, is exclusive to the anime.
Yep, imagine that, because it makes literally no sense.
Sorry to get you like that, man. And then that's the only difference from the manga, honestly.
Oh, okay.
So just everything that happened without Goku was filler. Let's get to the trivia, though.
Oh, wait. You say that, but I forgot. This is the episode where we see the scene of them saying we've got all 7 Dragon Balls. We see Bulma, Roshi, and all of them at
yep.
Kami House they say the Dragon Balls, and it says that is exclusive to the anime. So cool.
that is also exclusive to the anime. I assumed that one was, but I guess you're right. I guess we should bring that up. I'm looking through the trivia now. Let me know if you see anything you like in here. Well, in the trivia it says, only in the dub version, after Bubbles dropped the apple from the tree, Goku makes a statement about Sir Isaac Newton. There is no such comment in the original Japanese version. Wow, shocking. Cannot believe that didn't make it into the original Japanese version.
This is an interesting one. The filler portion of this episode establishes a 6-month time frame for Gohan's tail to grow back, which foreshadows its return in Krillin's offensive.
Oh, so they're actually kind of smart with that.
That actually is kind of cool.
They were trying to show hey, the tails come back on a time frame. So good job to them. And then I guess one last piece of trivia is, since Gohan loses his clothes in this episode, it might explain how he got a gi similar to Piccolo's before the Saiyans arrive. Which is true. He does have more of a Piccolo style fit.
Wait, only in the dub version, after Bubbles drops the apple from the tree, Goku makes a statement about...
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yep, there it is. I can't believe that it didn't make both versions, but I still appreciate it for what it is.
Crazy. What else is crazy is these ratings we're probably about to give these. Doto, this means you do have to go first, and I have to put my hand up.
Well, I really... See, the thing is, I did enjoy this episode. It was a little light. I thought it was kind of stupid, if we're being honest, the pod. But it's kind of hard to go any lower than what I'm going to give it. I'm being a bit harsh here, even though I did really like the Goku getting the Snake Way stuff. That part was good, but it's just so little of the episode. I'm going to go right down the middle out of 5 here. Easy 5 for me.
Doto.
Nana, what? What are you looking at?
Doto.
What are you thinking?
I've been holding up one hand with all my fingers up the entire time, Doto. So that means that we managed to do the same score again.
Damn, dude, that sucks, dude.
It did feel like such a 5 episode, though. You know, like
this was a big 5.
Although I'm looking back and I gave Plight of the Children a 5, and I'm like, this was definitely better than Plight of the Children. But here's the thing: things are so relative to at the time of filming these, because like when I saw Plight of the Children, it was a shining light in the sky after watching the absolute garbage that was Dueling Piccolos.
Yeah, so don't be too hard on yourself.
So that's like, yeah, man. Damn. Oh my gosh. But
see, that's the thing is every one of these is always going to be relative, because you're exactly right. Like that episode wasn't that great, but it was okay. And we just got off some of the worst shit we'd ever seen, man. So I can't blame us.
Well, you gave it a 4. You did technically still rank this one higher than Plight of the Children.
Yeah, so. But like I don't be too hard on yourself, man. I can't blame you. I wanted to say 5, I'm sure, on Plight of the Children.
Anyways, guys, that is our recap of episodes 17 and 18 of Dragon Ball Z. That is another episode of Key Moments in the books. Doto, we're 3 months plus in.
Oh my gosh.
We've been doing this for over 3 months. That's
the wildest part of all.
Dude, here's what's crazy is that this is the last episode of 2023. And you know what happens when we get to the next episode? We are in the same year that we're getting a new Dragon Ball series.
That is true. So the recap's gonna.
We are in the dude. I cannot believe we're actually getting a new Dragon Ball series. Like,
well, I'm still questionable on this series, man. Daima is gonna have to do a lot to.
I think to celebrate 40th anniversary, they're gonna bring it. I really do. And I hope I don't eat those words. Hey. I think that we've been in this weird lull period, and everything's gonna start coming together. Sparking Zero's gonna come out. Ugh. You're gonna get the fighters update with rollback, and then the announcement of a new season. Like,
yeah.
You know, and then Daima is gonna have SSJ 4 canonized, and it's gonna be so cool.
Oh my god, I cannot wait for that not to happen. Bro, there is no way.
I've seen people say they don't want that to happen, and I'm like, you've lost your mind. Would you not love to see SSJ 4 in this?
Listen, man, I would. I know that series is ending on a Super Saiyan transformation.
Yeah, you're right. It's not gonna have Super Saiyan 4. I already know that. But
damn.
Anyways, what I do know is that we appreciate you guys. Thank you guys for being here, tuning in to our little podcast, talking about random things and anime and Dragon Ball and all the stuff. And
jingle.
You hear that, Dono?
Yeah. There it is.
And also, guess what? If you're on YouTube, you can click on another video and you can watch more of our Key Moments podcast right here in just now.